Today we are making some delicious, yummy sandwich bread using my sourdough starter, and I hope that this is just a really simple, easy recipe that you guys will enjoy too. I am so excited because this is actually a soft and just yummy sourdough recipe, so try it. So one thing about different recipes that I've seen is you have to add eggs or milk, or you've got butter and oil and all these different things in your recipes, and it's like all these extra ingredients. This recipe is super basic. So it's 4 cups of flour, all-purpose flour, and you could use whatever you wanted. I'm going to experiment with this and see if I can use half of it with freshly milled flour and see how that turns out. And then it's 1 cup of sourdough starter. I honestly am not a perfect measurer, so it might be a little bit less, it might be a little bit more. Honestly, I don't think it matters a whole lot. It might affect your rise times a bit, but overall, I don't think it's a big deal. And then I add 2 cups of water to this. This recipe is the same as my hamburger buns, and so what I'm finding is that if you want a softer bread, have more liquid. So super basic. 4 cups of flour, 2 cups of water, and 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 cup of sourdough starter. Once this really starts to form a ball, it's a pretty sticky dough. So don't worry about that. Just know that that is going to be a sticky dough. And then I let it rise for 12 hours approximately overnight at room temperature. And if you want to, you can do an additional rise in the fridge for whatever time you really want to. I did one for about 12 hours as well. And that just gives it a longer ferment. It's optional. You don't have to do it. I have also made this dough where I just took it out after the 12 hours and put it into the bread loaf pans. So even though this only has 4 cups of flour, I was able to make 2 loaves of bread with this. It rises a decent amount in the oven, so don't be afraid of the fact that at first in your bread pans it might look pretty small. That's okay. Make sure you either really butter those pans or put in some parchment paper so it doesn't stick. And then to help with the stickiness of the dough, go ahead and wet your hands with some cold water before you remove the dough from the bowl and put it into the pans. And then when I'm shaping dough, it's pretty simple. I just take it out, pull the dough apart by hand to put it in half, and I roll it. So I kind of spread it out with my fingers, roll it into kind of like a roll, like a cinnamon roll, and then I button up the edges. Once these are in their bread pans, let them rise again for about 3 to 4 hours. They might look kind of small in the bread pans before when you put them in there, and even when they're rising, they may not look fully full. That is totally okay because once they cook, they fill it out, they rise. And so there is that final product. To make sure that your bread is actually cooked, do the knocking test on the bottom to make sure that it sounds hollow, and that is a good indication that your bread is fully cooked through. Normally, the sandwich bread recipe that I use, which is from House of Food, which is a great starter recipe if you're looking for one, is a bit dense, and that was my husband's big complaint, is that it was too dense. So I set out to make a soft bread, and it was kind of an accident, but here we are, and just it's a soft bread. Like I can squish it and look at that crumb. Like it's just yummy and soft. If you can see that squishing there, it's a great dough. So go ahead and try it. Have fun.